here we are with Mob Cops, another great performance, and I looked. I guess this is one of three collaborations with director Danny and co-star. So I was curious. I know you have that upcoming movie, Perfect Gamble. I was curious what it is about Danny's style as a director that sort of makes you enjoy, coming back to continue collaborating with him.
He's the best. I mean, anyone who knows his nickname's Danny A. So anyone who knows Danny A is just a huge fan. He's got such a huge heart. He gets like it's amazing. They used to do it a lot with like John Cassavetes, that different people would work with the same people. Martin Scorsese would work with a lot of the same people in a lot of different films. But it's not something that a lot of people do anymore, but Danny does. So he creates this family environment. He loves film and he loves mob, stories and telling these really, crime and just wonderful characters. He always loves really great characters. He works with Barry Mankiewicz a lot, who's a DP. He did All the Pretty Horses and Sling Blade and Apostles. He's a tremendous cinematographer. So to work with them, it's just so much fun. It's like Danny's like he's a real character. So it'll be, get on me, hey, come on, let's do it. He's got a lot of energy, and it's really a fun set to be a part of.
That's great. Yeah, it looks like, I mean, of course, it's a dark storyline, but I'm not surprised it's a fun set to be on. It's a dirty cop movie. Why not?
For sure, for sure. And he got so many cool people in it. Jeremy Luke plays the other
Right.
mob cop in it. He just steals the film. He's such a tremendous actor. And
Yeah.
Joey Russo's another incredible actor in it, and Lorenzo. And there's like all of this group of really wonderful actors. Bo Dietl, like these people that a lot of them grew up in Staten Island. They sort of know the whole world. It's just it feels very authentic.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It certainly, yeah, feels that way. And I was curious for you, as Sammy Canzano, I was curious, how far down the rabbit hole with the real story did you go in terms of, I don't know, possibly trying to boost your own performance, or maybe
I,
did you sort of just, yeah.
I didn't kill anyone, Will, if that's what you're asking. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, researched it. I talked to a lot of these guys because they know these guys. So they know sort of the take on it. But part of the thing about playing a character like this, this crooked cop, was that he didn't see himself as, really doing anything bad. He saw himself as taking bad people off the streets. A few people get hurt in the crossfire. That's like part of the challenge of it all. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time. And then, they got paid for it. So, I could take care of my family and, he wasn't like the other character that Luke plays where he's kind of like full of himself and he wants all this fame and
Yeah.
prestige. He's just a guy who wanted to, at least this is how in my head as an actor I justify it, because this is how I would see this guy justifying it, where he's doing it for his family. He's doing it to get these bad people off the streets. So if he sort of sees it that way, then it's not easier to play, but it comes from a place of like I could draw from a place of like I get that. I know like wanting to do the right thing and how challenging it could be.
Of course. And I remember you sort of saying something similar for your on sacred ground character when we last spoke. The guy, your character was sort of in this tough position. I remember you saying you sort of understood like he had to make these controversial decisions, but yeah. So that's,
Yeah,
yeah.
you see these different characters and people have different points of view. And you look as an actor, you spend a lot of your time kind of like watching people, so
Yeah.
looking at behavior. Why do people do certain things? Why do people think certain ways? So to be able to draw from that and just looking around at society in general, it's interesting. It's like
Yeah.
there's things like that that happen all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. I also want to mention, it's this year marks the 10th anniversary since your movie Bone Tomahawk was released.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
I was curious, all these years later, if you still had any sort of memories from that production experience, which I imagine maybe it was sort of hot and grueling. You're alongside the great Kurt Russell. So if
Uh,
anything you sort of recall from that you'd like to share.
Absolutely. I mean, working with Sid Haig was just such an honor because he's such an incredible, legendary actor. And I may have been his last film, so I just feel really blessed to have met him and worked with him. And then Kurt Russell, I mean, we did 3,000 Miles of Graceland together, and then to come on this and just see him, and he did such a tremendous performance in that, in everything. The guy's just an amazing actor. So it's always like an honor to work with such legends, like really wonderful people, and be a part of a group like my part, I think was only 2 days. It might have even just been a day, but it started the movie off and it was just fun and just kind of happened very quickly. But to be part of a movie that has staying power that people continue to appreciate really was a gift.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to mention I was super excited to learn that you'd be returning as Dewey for the next Scream film. Those are some of my favorites from over the years. I'm such a horror fan. And of course, with the great Kevin Williamson directing. I was curious, I know you've worked with him on some of those other films. Is there something you like in particular about Kevin's style? And, going from writer to director, I mean, what do you like about him as working on these movies?
Well, the report that I was in it is a spoiler report. Like it was supposed to be a surprise, but
Oh, so
no, no, not at all. But I love Kevin, and for him to be able to direct one of the Scream movies is so cool
yeah,
and a wonderful opportunity since he's so instrumental on creating this world to start with Wes Craven, of course.
right.
Oh yeah, to be for him to be able to direct it's really wonderful to see. He's such a talented person as a writer, as a director, and just a great guy altogether.
Yeah, of course. And I can't believe this year marks 25 years since Scream 3 was released. So I was curious if there was one movie in particular for you that you enjoyed shooting the most out of, what is it, four or five that you've been in thus far.
The first one was something really special about that first group and just meeting Wes Craven, working with him for the first time, really
Right.
kind of changed my life. And he really had an impact on my life beyond just acting. He really was a really wonderful mentor. And yeah, so Scream 3 was a trip because we filmed it primarily in Los Angeles. So everybody was sort of going back to their houses. It's a different experience of when you're on a location and
Right.
everybody's sort of there together. You get to know everyone a little more. And then there was like a movie inside a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an interesting one. We had a lot of like cameos in that. James
Right, right, right.
Bob and like all of these really interesting characters. So it was funny to be a part of and Carrie Fisher, I think, and
Yeah, yeah,
all of these like interesting people to meet and be a part of. And
yeah,
I got to, oh, spoiler alert, but I got to kill Ghostface in that one, I believe.
yeah. Oh,
So
yeah,
that's always like, Dewey finally did
yeah.
it. He's happy
Wait,
for
you did? No, I'm just kidding. Of course. I've
him. Yeah, I
seen
did.
those movies like 10 times.
Yeah, I know. I think like, after a year at least,
Yeah.
spoilers are,
Yeah, of
the
course.
spoiler clock has gone out.
Yeah, of course. And I also wanted, lastly, I mean, I think a lot of folks were excited to see Chuck Hank and the San Diego Twins. There were some announcements and teases, and I was curious if you had heard anything if about a potential release or anything.
No, I don't think so. That got lost in the ethers. I don't know what it
Okay.
must be some kind of internal power struggle or something.
Oh, okay.
It's too bad because it was really, I saw some of it. It was really interesting,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
far out and really like ahead of its time. I was so impressed by when they shot it because they had like 8 cameramen at the time.
yeah,
Everyone had their own little cameras. I was like, what is going on? I've never
yeah,
seen so many cameras.
yeah. Yeah, well, yes, I hope so. But in the meantime, of course, congratulations on Mob Cops, and thank you for taking the time to chat with me again.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah, thanks, David. Take care.